If you give somebody nothing to work with, you can't be surprised when they have no idea what you're talking about. What is it we do in the Red Pill? We swap notes. Now, I'm sure people have heard all kinds of different stories about us, but I'm here to give you a glimpse inside the locker room. Here, we're going to discuss the field reports that happened a few years back. Brand new guys who are trying to learn the strategies that we talk about. Who am I? I used to be one of these brand new guys. I, like you, was pretty good at women and relationships, but I wasn't great at it. Hard times hit, things got tough, and it turns out there's nowhere for a man to go nowadays that actually wants him to succeed, to thrive, to get better at what he does and improve his lot in life. So, like most guys, I took it upon myself, found a bunch of guys in the same boat as me, and together we built a set of working strategies based on the experience of hundreds of thousands of men, just like us. Men swapping notes, iron sharpening iron. Welcome to the locker room. My wife is constantly saying that she can't tell if I love her or just want to sleep with her. She also routinely says that she needs to feel love in order to sleep with me. I'm sure I'm still struggling a bit to find balance, but I don't want to feel like a kid with napalm burning the house down for funsies, nor do I feel like going back to my old beta ways. However, I do know I'm back after a hiatus. I no longer can coast off of the reading and the lifting I've done, so my question is this a comfort test or a fitness test? Because I don't know. Couple terms before we get started. Fitness test, pretty straightforward. You've probably also heard them by another name, but we are a family-friendly channel, so I don't use it here. A fitness test is for when a girl feels strong desire, like genuine desire for somebody, and she doesn't trust her own motivations or her own judgment. It's actually an innate part of the female hardwiring called the innate skepticism bias. I believe it was a term coined by Dr. David Buss or Cindy Minston, but don't quote me on that one. The idea is that the female psyche selects for high investment signals, and when they don't receive them, they automatically assume that they're insincere. And so the purpose of a fitness test is to kind of suss out whether what she feels as a sincere test is actually what she thinks it is. And that's why, for the most part, guys who can expertly navigate these things tend to do better off. It's her way of letting you know you've already won, just don't screw it up. Comfort tests. Comfort tests are the other side of the scenario. So I'm sure you've heard us talk about alpha behaviors and beta behaviors. That's stuff that builds desire or stuff that drives comfort and commitment. A comfort test is to comfort what a fitness test is towards desire. It's to somebody that a girl will have actual genuine desire for, but she's unsure about her place in the relationship or the commitment from the other person. And so these generally take the form of more panicky, self-interested. The little rule of thumb we always use is that it's a fitness test if it's a you, and if it's a me, or I, it tends to be comfort tests. Anyways, the point of passing these ones is to show commitment or comfort the same way a dad would if a child was panicking and they just wanted to comfort them, while at the same time not buckling under pressure and losing what made you desirable in the first place. Medium is the message. This is a term coined by Marshall McLuhan, another, probably the second most famous University of Toronto professor that they've heard about in the public sphere. Thank you, Dr. Peterson. And it describes the idea of the medium of communication carrying more of a message than the actual substance of a communication. In this case, if a girl is saying that she loves you, but she's not in love with you, or she thinks you're a great friend, all these communication things are very nice to hear. And that, or let's say you'll make somebody a good husband one day, but they are physically not escalating with you or being receptive to your escalations. All that means is that she does not find you physically attractive. And so in this case, her actions, or the medium, is the main message here. The advice for this guy, this one's a hard one, and even when you look at the post, it's the same thing. The advice is all over the place because the guy has provided absolutely no information. Often I'll tell guys that your field reports are the most important thing for you because they allow you to articulate things, to show where you find the priorities are, and other people can then look at it and go, hey, you've missed these things that other people have prioritized. Is there a reason for it? Are you not thinking about it? Are you hiding it? Or did you just not deem it important? And the answer can be all three, but the point is, the language matters. So in this case, the answers go on a large spectrum. The one side of it people focus on when he was talking about being in hiatus and coming back, to which you would say, you can't let your foot off the gas. Being a high-value man is not a part-time job. You kind of have to be that 24/7. And this is where that meme, married is red pill on hard mode. All it means is that you can't turn it off and on like a light switch. It's not a pickup routine that you can do for a couple hours, then go back to live streaming Fortnite. Second way people look at it is that it's neither a comfort test nor a fitness test, and it's a power dynamic. In this case, the wife may be looking to establish a more higher status role within the relationship and using a technique here where she just starts giving demands and hoping the guy jumps through them because he likes sleeping with her. It's a very common thing, and it happens very slowly. It's almost like boiling a frog. So for some cases where you have that kind of wife that hates not being the one in control, you'll often get this kind of approach as well, which could be applicable to the op. It might not be applicable to the op. Third way you can look at it is that he doesn't know how to deal with his own success. If it's the case that this is a comfort test, and I guarantee you if you're in this situation, it's much easier to see than if you hear it in 7 lines from a field report. But if it is a comfort test, then a nice cocky and funny response is usually all that's required. She says she wants to feel loved. Just say you love her, give her a slap on the can, big hug, nice kiss, pass the comfort test, move on. It shows you don't take it seriously, which means she shouldn't take it seriously, but without telling her not to worry about it, because it's the funny thing you'll find if you've had to be in a relationship for any length of time, that if you try to tell somebody that there's nothing wrong, there's no problems, or you argue with them over your feelings towards them, they're going to fight you every step of the way. So just tell them what they want to hear. And in the case that you get that casual response back, well, you're just saying that because you know I want to hear it. In which case you just say, yeah, exactly. But I do, but you wouldn't believe me otherwise, or some other cocky, funny response. That's the key here, is that you don't take it too seriously. You know life's going well. You know you're treating her right. You know she's treating you right. So everything else is just a goofy little game that you don't have to worry about. So why is this important for you? It's important for you because I want to see if you can see what half-assing it looks like. In this case, a couple throwaway lines and a very, very lazy implementation here gives nobody anything to work with. So when you're swapping notes with guys, you have to give them something. If you don't, all they're going to be able to do is project their own personal experience onto it, or pick from a variety of field reports. There is no singular path to a good relationship. So the more context and the more detail you can apply with, the better off you're going to be. Now, don't go too far to the point where you're mentioning absolutely everything, but the idea is you want to add the details that you think are important so people can understand the subtext or the medium of your message so they can better decipher and apply it to other people's situations that may be applicable to yours. An alternative to this, a fairly good one. It's something we always tell guys. First off, start with your lifts, your body fat, your weight, your height. Those just establish right there that you're putting in work. For all we know, this guy could be a 300-pound land whale and he's lost 10 pounds, or he could be a 130-pound guy who's gained 100 pounds since then. We have no idea of knowing. And that will be important because if he is getting into a crazy amount of good shape, starting to get ripped, starting to get jacked, and all of a sudden his wife starts throwing out these comfort tests, well, then it lets you know she's just very insecure about her place in the relationship. At the same time, if it's the case where she has always been a huge nagging harpy and always wanted a man that she can control because of daddy issues or whatever, knowing that beforehand will let you know that this is most likely a power trip. And then for the third point, maybe this guy has a habit of not understanding his own best interest and not being deliberate with his actions. So in this case, when he says he's struggling with either burning his relationship down for fun or reverting back to his old ways, he has a problem with calibration, in which case you can suss out the details that matter. But the alternative way this one had gone is where the guy kind of gives you enough of background and enough details here to better understand what it is specifically he's looking for. Because the one thing he doesn't want to know is if that's a comfort test or a fitness test. What he wants to know is what are the likely results if he continues running his map the way he's running now. And had he added a couple more lines of some of those details, the ones that he deems important, would have made this far easier to decipher. And that's the lesson. So on that note, I'll leave you guys to it. I'll catch you on the next one.